in the paper.
Robert, are you on?
They shouldn't be, I always panic.
Yes, I'm here, Mayor.
Okay. Do you feel prepared to
Florida.
share the screens or not?
Fort Myers.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. John, do you want to give him permission?
I gave him co-host.
Fantastic. Okay, welcome. It is 7:00 p.m. March 16th, 2020, Wednesday. This is the regular meeting in person and in Zoom. This meeting is now called to order. Before we sit down after the pledge, I want to have a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine, please. You can sit or stand after the pledge. Let's rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's stand for a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Please be seated. All right, so I would like to make, let's do the roll call, please.
Mayor McFadden,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Shaw. Present. Trustee Brooke,
Present.
Trustee Casker,
Present.
Trustee Shara, out.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, so I just want to make a couple comments. Several board meetings ago, John Ledwith informed us that he had gone to the DPW and examined some of the equipment, felt that it could be put up for auction. The board voted to approve that. And so far, he's brought back in over $8,000. So John, thank you and congratulations. That's essentially $8,000 worth of found money on equipment that we were not using or was obsolete. Also, I wanted to comment that this last week, we met with our new senator, state senator, Skoufis, and his chiefs of staff. They came here to introduce themselves because the new redistricting in New York State means that they are now our new state senator representative. Most of the discussion was on grant applications and what they might be able to do for us with grants. So we discussed, of course, infrastructure, and we have several grants that are pending, and he might be able to get involved with those. But having him as part of the team to alert us to grants and his team to then help us get through those grants, if there's any political maneuvering to do, is a very positive thing. The meeting was attended by myself, John, and Elizabeth. Elizabeth brought up the idea of getting rid of daylight savings time. And it was ironic because Senator Skoufis has that on his roster right now and has submitted it. But of course, as everyone knows, yesterday, the entire Senate unanimously passed a bill that would end daylight savings time. And now it's up to Congress, to the House. So
I missed it too.
yeah. That said, let's move on to reports and minutes. The first report is construction. If you'd like to pull that up, it's already pulled up. Thank you. And John, you're on.
We have a number of things going on. We had 4 certificate of occupancies.
Wait, hold on one second. Do we see it up on the screen?
No, we don't. We're waiting for Mr. Zit. There we are.
Okay. Is that construction?
Yes, it is. Can you enlarge it, Robert?
And you can get rid of the agenda
Make it full screen.
and make it full screen. Okay. If the audience would like to follow along, go to the village website and you will see all the documents listed for this meeting, all the support documents, and you can open them up. And to do that, you go to the home page, scroll down to events, and click on the 16th, and you will see all of the documents. Thank you very much. John?
Yes, we have 4 certificate of occupancies were reissued during the month of March. We have a number of sales that are pending and possibly some refinancing. We have at least 4 matters that are before the Village Justice Court. Some of them have been postponed over the last 2 months, which doesn't make us happy. But we're hoping most of these items will be addressed either through March or April of this year. A number of inspections. The Rifkin House on 97 Westlake Road is going well. Substantial part of the framing has been completed. They're starting to work on the roof over the last week or so. The Pays home on Tower Hill Road is going well as far as the initial foundation walls and footings. There's been some discussions regarding the electric service that we're trying to sort out with O&R. And the Overton subdivision, they received approval to cut back some of the vegetation to allow prospective buyers of the property to walk up the preliminary driveway and house site locations. Project status, Sunnymead LLC received the variance for construction within 100 feet of the reservoir. They're scheduled to go before the Board of Architecture review tomorrow evening. And there's 4 other matters at various stages of approval that are before the bar tomorrow evening. Other projects, we're working on trying to satisfy the police department. They've been having problems for over a year with reliable internet connection. We finally made a contact with John Dulligan, who's the Director of Government Affairs with Altice, which is also Optimum. We also mentioned this to Senator Skoufis last week. And I think some things have kind of started to turn, but we definitely haven't seen a resolution to that just yet. We've also been working regarding possible fiber optic connections, and we forwarded all those reports to our consultant, Walter Cooper. Had a discussion with a gentleman who might be buying a vacant piece of property on Eagle Mountain Road. Advised him regarding the zoning requirements and a walking trail easement that exists on that property. We're also going out to bid, seeking bids for insurance for June. And we've been filling out some applications and getting some knowledge about that going forward. And we also received a quote regarding leak detection for the entire water distribution system. And we're looking to possibly approve that to reduce the amount of water loss that we've been experiencing.
Thank you. DPW.
So just on the leak detection, I noticed that I think it said that it was for the entire, just the village, but it also includes the town.
Correct.
Just to.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, town and hamlet. Good question. I mean, town, hamlet, and the village. And it goes all the way out up to the nursery.
Right, it goes, yeah, our mains go from Hickory Hollow all
Right.
the way to just past the gym downtown.
Right, and just for the purpose of educating the public, we're losing what we estimate to be about 40% of the water that we purify. We produce a number of purified gallons and only bill a portion of that. So we've assumed for years it's leaks, and we hope to address it with this leak detection equipment by doing the entire thing at one time. We have done it piecemeal in the past. Okay, sir, please continue.
So we've had a couple of storms. We've received about 125 tons of salt. And speaking of salt, you had asked me about alternatives. The only thing I know that's readily available in this area is a product called Clear Lane. It's salt, but it's treated with magnesium chloride. So it's supposed to work at a colder temperature because the salt is pre-wetted with the magnesium chloride. It's supposed to use less because it doesn't scatter as much. When it comes out, it sticks better to the road. It's supposed to be better for the environment. It is, regular salt is about $69 a ton. For this treated salt is $86.20 a ton.
Right.
We use roughly 800 ton a year. That's an extra $14,000.
So to
get
see
that
to
product.
see if it's worth it, I think we should do some consulting with some experts. Maybe Jim Hayes would be interested in that project. But yeah, I'm looking for alternatives that would be less detrimental to the lake. And that happens, every year, unfortunately. Okay, please continue.
We had
Can I-
installed.
Sorry, can I ask a question real quick on the salt?
Mhm.
If if you use less of it, and you typically use 800 tons, then wouldn't you use less than 800 tons with this stuff the way it's treated?
If it's
What they
more-
say, but, I can't assume that until if we were to use it,
Right.
I mean, hopefully I would.
It might actually
That
be
is the
less
case.
expensive if what they say
More
is,
efficient.
right.
Well, depending on how much less you can use, if you
Right.
can. I mean, I don't know any local highway departments that are
Okay.
using it right now.
Thanks.
So we had a water main break
Mhm.
Monday on Mountain Road again.
Mhm,
This is just a continuous, occurrence.
mhm. Do we know what the cause was? Was
No.
it rotted pipe? Was it
Well,
too much pressure?
It's the pipe at some point has to be replaced because it
Mhm.
just continues to.
What was it, a
happen.
2, 4, 6-inch pipe?
6-inch.
And the work is done and it's been replaced.
It's been repaired. I'm waiting for the results from the bacteria samples that we
Mhm.
took today.
Right.
And hopefully, we had to put a boil water notice up, so hopefully that'll
Yeah,
get lifted
both
tomorrow.
Denise and the town clerk have put out notices to
Yeah.
everyone.
So hopefully by midday tomorrow, that will be able to be lifted.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's just really a sad situation. Very unfortunate. Anything else?
I mean, there's a lot of little stuff that just doesn't make sense to go through all that.
Well, it's posted.
It's posted.
It's
We've been
posted.
filling potholes with
Mhm.
cold patch until we can get hot mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be putting together a list of roads that we can consider for paving.
Excellent. Now I noticed you put in, what was it, 175 or 179 for new road repair for this year?
I think I put in 200,
200? Okay.
but I'm concerned what the price is gonna be this year. since
Well, it's
oil
going to
is
be
way up.
tremendous. And for example, when we were looking at your numbers for gas and diesel,
Yeah.
we figured we're going to double them.
Yeah.
Just, we'll see what happens. But we appreciate that. Okay. Chief?
Okay, so we had 245 calls for service.
Mm-hmm.
We had one arrest for a traffic-related offense. Issued 8 traffic tickets, 14 warnings were issued. We responded to 2 medical calls. We assisted the town of Tuxedo Police 3 times. We were assisted by them 1 time. We patrolled 2,017 miles, and our approximate daily count of vehicles coming into the village was 462.
Any report on new hires?
We conducted several interviews. I had to canvass the Orange County list, which was about 38 people
This is for the perm
for the permanent
position.
full-time
Mhm.
officer. Conducted lots of interviews. I got down to 3 candidates that you and I met with on this past Friday,
Yes,
and a decision has not been made yet
on your part.
on my part.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
What goes into it.
Okay, any update on the automatic gate? How is it working?
Well, it's new. There was a few issues that we had, a few complaints from different residents that it wasn't working, and it turned out that it was the wrong license plate number or.
That was me.
That to you?
You were just one of several.
Figures.
But, it's important that you're accurate when you fill out the forms on, what the license plate number is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no zero use, so it's always gonna be an O, never a
Mhm.
zero.
Mhm.
But other than that, everything's working good.
Yeah, I find it very convenient. Any other comments? I mean, did they, we had also changed the gate system so you don't have to manually open it and manually close it. Now it automatically closes. Is that a relief for them?
Yeah, well, it's not that it's a relief, but it took a little bit of time getting used to.
Mhm.
Personal residence, we
I
did.
almost went through it
Yeah.
once.
We had a couple of cars that got hit by the gate.
Anyone break the gate?
No, luckily, we have that foam underneath it that
Right.
Jeff puts on there,
Mm-hmm,
and that minimizes damage
Mhm.
to both the gate and to the vehicles.
Mhm.
But now everybody's getting the hang of it. Everybody's stopping and
Good.
realizing that the gate's gonna close.
good. Do you know how many people have registered?
I don't have that number. off the top of my
Okay.
head.
People realize they can register multiple cars,
Oh, yeah.
including
No,
domestic help and so on.
That's been happening.
Parents.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, next, we have the escrow findings report. Let me explain what that is. You've heard me, if you've been following or reading on the board meetings, that we discovered that we were behind in billing applicants for the consultants that were used by the various approval boards, the planning board, the bar, and the BZA. We have an escrow program, and whenever somebody applies for an application for a project, John refers to a list which gives an escrow amount. So for example, randomly, a pool might be a deposit of $500 and a new house might be a deposit of $5,000. The point is, as the application goes through the process, and the attorney and the engineer that sits with each board bills their time, they bill it to that applicant. We found out from the accountant and so on that we were not handling the escrow account properly. In fact, we found out that we have not billed the applicants, sometimes going back as long as 2019. We are making moves to change this. It's currently being done on a spreadsheet. We'll be moving it into the accounting program. And it's, I can't see it in front of me. Can John or someone tell me what we're owed that we haven't billed for yet?
You're behind you, John.
Can anybody see that? I think it's 39,000.
35,520.
Thank you, Paul. 35 grand that we're out, which is better than what we thought it might be, up to 60. And if you may recall that we had Desiree Hickey working on this to get it back up to speed. We're now making the decision to send out these bills. It's uncomfortable for us because some of them will be old. We're willing to discuss them, but that's the update on that. And there is the escrow summary there. I redacted the names. Let's move on to the Justice Court. That's a written, litigation written, treasurer written, water written, minutes, Board of Assessors, and Board of Trustees. That ends reports and minutes. Let's move on to committees and liaisons. Our first speaker on behalf of the Lakes Committee is Chairman Jim Hayes. Jim, if you don't mind using the microphone and stating your name and so forth. Thank you.
James Hayes, Cliff Road, Cedar Park. Thank you, Mayor and Board, for your attention. I just wanted to bring to your attention the fact that a year ago, I submitted a draft watershed management plan for the village. And this is a rather long and in some ways cumbersome
Jim,
document.
If you could pull up the, it says communicate, committee, Jim Hayes graph.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so there's a feature of this report which I wanted to focus on tonight, and that is the fact that our lake experiences anoxia every summer. In other words, what happens is because of the amount of organic material which is produced in the upper waters of the lake, this sinks into the lower waters. And as the lake is stratified in the summertime, the lower waters are not connected to the atmosphere. And as this organic material decays, it uses up the oxygen in the water, and the water becomes oxygen depleted to the extent that nothing can live in it. And what happens during the course of the season, as you can see over there are a couple of years, 2019 and 2020. Starting in June, it starts at the bottom and gradually it increases, reaching a minimum depth in October. And back in 2008, that was about 12 meters down. Now it's about 8 or 9 meters down, or 9 to 10 meters. And I checked, that was last year, and I checked with the lake manager, and he said it's about the same in 2021. So that means at that time of year, the mean depth of the lake is 8 meters. At that time of the year, half the lake is a desert. And the trout, which need to have cool water and well oxygenated water, have a little window of habitability of about 1.5 meters at that time. So this this may be even shrinking with time, as it has since 2012. And the answer to this is to reduce the amount of phosphate coming into the lake. Now, this is a multiple source problem. Phosphorus is coming out of the sediments. Phosphorus is washing through the stormwater system, and it's washing off the land around the lake. So you have to vegetate the land around the lakes. And I want to talk about the stormwater management system. We don't know where all our stormwater pipes are, and we don't know which pipes are connected to which catch basins. And we really need to know that, because if we know that and we sample the water that's coming out of the pipes and we find that some of it has high phosphorus, we know what catch basins that pipe is servicing, then we can put our finger on where that phosphate is coming from. So this is a long-term problem. All these things, it took a long time for the lake to get this way. It'll take a long time to make it a lot better. But it has to be attacked from a number of points of view. Last year, I brought this to the attention of the board, and the mayor sent out a request for proposals to the village engineer, Weston and Sampson, and they put in a proposal to map the stormwater pipes, and for about 20K. Their proposal came in on the 28th of April, which was kind of late from a budgeting point of view, and it didn't get in the budget. So I'm just hoping that it can get in this year's budget.
Jim, your source material for this, is that with AJ?
That's right.
Okay, our lakes manager. everyone.
That's right. Those are his measurements.
Okay, terrific. And also, we did a little digging when we got this today, and Tink, I think you found a $5,000.
Yeah, we had put in 5,000. So yeah, we had no idea it was going to be that expensive. So
And I think this had to do with maybe you and an apprentice going around and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So we did get that in, but then as you know, the actual bid came in after the budget process was done.
Yeah.
I will be presenting the budget. Well, the budget goes from the budget director to me and Elizabeth, and then it's presented to the trustees on the 20th, assuming we're on time. I think we're on time. And we'll certainly share it with you. I have a feeling it's going to be in, but it'll be a good time for you to come and make your case.
You may want to get an RFP from other entities.
Yes, I believe that.
Because it seemed a little high. I mean,
Well, I think, if I recall, I don't have the agreement in front of me, but I believe that it was based on some guesstimates he had by talking to people. I don't know if he actually went out to bid.
no, I think you just asked him what he thought.
What a range rate, as the engineer, I think what he would do when the time came, he would probably go out to several different vendors to get a price. Yeah.
So one question, Jim, with respect to the treatment of milfoil, does milfoil have an effect on this anorexic issue?
Yeah, well, it does to the extent that when the milfoil dies in the fall, it sinks down and that organic matter gets into the sediments. And it will stay there except when the lake becomes anoxic. So then the chemistry changes and the phosphorus comes out. So if the milfoil is down below 8 meters, which some of it will be, it will affect this, and some of it will get washed into deeper water too. But it is part of the organic production, the milfoil is. But the most of it's probably coming from the algae.
Right, but theoretically, therefore, if we treat for milfoil, not as much will be produced, and therefore that'll be less of a burden on the lake respectively.
Yeah, if you keep having the phosphorus coming in from the watershed.
Right, no, we have to deal with it, but
Right.
it's a narrower problem because, you know, we have to figure out the phosphorus from the watershed.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it. Now, there's some information from the Cell Communications Committee. First, I want to do a shout out to John Ledwith and Maureen Cohn, and for loaning his phone, Trustee Brooke. They went around on the behest of our Walter Cooper, who is the communications chair, and they drove around the village and they took readings from 3 different phones: Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. That information is uploaded here if you want to pull it up. It's called Committees, Cell Communications, John Ledwith, if you want to show that document. Now, in addition to that, I posted some information from Walter Cooper, our consultant, that came in today. So that's posted. It's a report. John, do you care to comment any further about that project and what you found?
I think most of our findings were consistent with what we've been told and what some of us have experienced over the last several years. There are areas on Mountain Farm Road, some short areas on Westlake Road, in between Mountain Farm and Patterson Brook, and maybe Brook Road, that are dead zones. The majority of the locations, we were able to make a phone call. And I did some analysis today. I think about 22% of the locations were low signal, low productivity. But over, I think 2/3 of the park, we were able to get out without any trouble. I did notice while we were driving around that, you know, the cell signal strength varies tremendously. You know, that you could just be creeping along and you wouldn't have a signal, then you stop, and then all of a sudden you'd have 3 bars. And maybe the reverse at times. So it's very, very finicky as to where you have a good service.
There it
or
is.
not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a very detailed report. Again, it took a lot of time. Thank you very much. The purpose of doing this report is to give to our communications consultant, Walter Cooper, to help us pinpoint what type of equipment we might need and so forth. We can skip the communications from Walter Cooper, and we can move on to,
I have one quick question.
yes, sir.
Comparing AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon in a general sense.
I was doing some number crunching today. I believe that AT&T was just slightly better than the other 2.
Slightly better.
Yeah.
New Samsung phone. If I switch from Verizon, this could be the
Verizon.
this could be the excuse I've been needing.
AT&T.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have liaison reports. Do any of the trustees have a liaison report? Okay,
I just want to make a comment about the fire department.
sure.
So, Mayor, first of all, thank you for the moment of silence in honor of those dying in Ukraine. If you notice when you drive down past fire department Route 17, there's colored lights in the soffits, and you have red, white, and blue, and then fire department changed to yellow and blue on the other end. So you have American colors and Ukrainian colors, showing our a testament to our solidarity with the Ukrainians. If you watch the news, the bombs fall, and then the fire department is out there trying to put out the fires. And I think that just goes to the bravery of the people
Amazing.
out there. It means a lot to me because a couple of days ago, there was a big news story about a military base that was bombed. I was on that base in 2014, watching American and Ukrainian soldiers train together because they knew this day was going to come. And it's a shame of what's happening out there, but I'm glad that at least, the fire department was able to have something simple to kind of show a symbol of the community's appreciation.
Great. And you want to mention something about the fire hydrants?
Nope.
Okay.
There was also, I think, Michelle Lindsay wanted you to give an update. She sent through this afternoon.
I haven't seen it.
Let me see. It
Okay.
was about
What was it on?
Tuxedo Farms.
Oh, did she send you a copy?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
I was
So
on a
we'll
plane for
skip
3
that.
hours this afternoon.
We'll skip that. Paul would be the one to do that anyway. And Paul and I joined Monday's presentation on Tuxedo Farms. There is a handout that I could post.
Mrs. Lindsay has raised her hand.
Mrs. Lindsay has raised her hand. Why don't we make an exception for Michelle and see what she has to say? Hi, Michelle.
Hi, thanks for letting me give just a couple of updates. On Tuxedo Farms, thank you for attending the meeting on Monday. That was just to show what's happening in the commercial area mostly. But next Thursday, the 24th at 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we'll be discussing the tech memos and the concept plan and some design guidelines. So that's a public meeting for people to attend and listen to us work on that. And then the other thing I'd like to just make sure people know about is this coming Monday, we're having a presentation on the community choice aggregation law that the town has introduced. And we will have a public hearing on that law March 28th. So on Monday, we're just going to be giving people background information so that when they participate in the public hearing, they're prepared. And this is a law that would be separate from the village's consideration of community choice aggregation.
Right. And we will be having a presentation from them next month.
Perfect.
We were going to do it this evening, but Josh Scher, who heads that committee, had to leave town. So I postponed it for a month. I have downloaded all of your material, the slideshow, the presentation, the local law that you wrote, etc. So I thank you for that head start.
Okay. Yeah, I think that whoever wants it, I'm sure the law you might consider will be very similar to the one we're adopting, hopefully. So you might want, whoever can come, that would be great. And then very last note is that tomorrow the town is putting out for bid a $2.2 million refunding bond. These refund the 2003 and 2014 bonds that were used to purchase the police department, land and building, the highway department, and Quarry Field. So just
Now you also increased your rating, didn't you?
we got a rating increase on October of last year and to A3, and we couldn't get an upgrade now because the 2021 audit isn't complete, but I'm sure we'll be up for another upgrade soon.
Well, you're ahead of us again. We're going to be meeting shortly with some new bond people to consider and possibly, readjust. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your new chief.
Yes, Chief Tamara. Yes.
No, I meant today.
Oh, you met her.
No, I said congratulations today. Oh, her name is tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry.
Tamara
Okay.
Dreyer, sorry.
Got it. All right, I'm with you. Okay, anything else?
That's it for now.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Okay, so the next thing we have is an accounting of the Weewa Park membership. If you want to pull that up, Rob, it is a summary of everyone that has purchased a membership and it can be downloaded. We're doing quite well. We haven't even had spring yet and we're almost there. So I want to thank everybody that's been applying for memberships. It's very convenient. It can be done online. I'm looking forward to the grandfathered people of the hamlet signing up. I don't think there's more than maybe one or two so far.
No, more than that.
Good. And I've spoken to Jennifer. She told me that usually they come in later in the season.
You have about 13. From
We have 13.
13 from the. Hamlet,
Terrific.
yeah.
13. Terrific. Okay, so we're excited about that. And I just want to make one comment about insurance. I've heard several people talk about that we don't have the proper insurance and that if someone were to drown, there would be a $10,000 per family tax assessment, one-time tax assessment. That's just not the case. Our pool company, the management company, has a $3.5 million umbrella. And we've talked extensively with our own insurance company, broker, and we have in writing from them that we do not have to get any additional insurance, including if someone sadly, unfortunately, were to pass away swimming. There are some circumstances where we might need to get an extra bit of insurance, which if required, we will do. As John said, we're in the middle of interviewing other insurance companies because it's been 10 or more years since we used one. We just wanted to get some prices to fulfill our fiduciary responsibilities. And so we'll make sure we're covered. But that rumor, it's time for that rumor to die down. All right. So let's see. Annual budget process. Our budget director, Deputy Mayor Tinka Shaw, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
We're making progress, working here with Elizabeth and John, and we should have something, and you also. And so we should have something, I'm hoping Friday, our first run. I'm hoping to get started on the process.
And I'd also like to join you in thanking the chief and Jeff for getting in their departmental budgets in a timely manner.
Yes.
They're in very good shape. We made a few corrections, and then I added a wish list of things, which this full board will deal with as we go through the tax situation that'll be facing us. Thank you very much. I'd like to open for public comments now. I'll start with anyone that's in the room. Do we have anybody that is on Zoom that would like to comment? Brian, just to mention, there's a lot of new sales for the Welcome Committee.
There's one hand raised at the moment, Mayor. It's Ms. Hempel.
Thank you. Ms. Hempel, please. Can you unmute?
Yeah, she can. I'll-
Chu Yin, try and unmute.
Sorry.
There she goes. Okay, thank you.
No, no, she muted it.
You muted again.
No, she did.
Yeah. When you unmute, Chu Yin,
I
we'll
have.
there we go.
There
Don't
we
touch
are.
anything.
Yep. I
All right.
know. Sorry.
What can we do for you?
Well, I just want to say a few words in support of what Jim Hayes was saying. I first heard about concerns regarding the health of our lakes and the quality of our drinking water back in 2009, when the Board of Trustees at that time commissioned Princeton Hydro for a study of the emerging problem. 13 years and 5 administrations have passed. I know we're tackling the milfoil problem, the Eurasian milfoil problem, but doing so alone is really just dealing with the symptoms, not the cause of our problem. I think Jim mentioned earlier that we're ignoring the fact that milfoil and blue-green algae grow in our water because of excessive nutrients like phosphorus flowing into the lakes from the hills surrounding the lakes and from the properties abutting the lakes. The nutrients come from the storm water drains and also as surface water runoff, because so many properties around the lake have cut their trees and put in lawns. And I think you may remember that I had said in the presentation I made last year that lawns with their very shallow roots are no better than just slides facilitating surface stormwater runoff. I firmly...
We lost you there.
There you go.
To Jim and take.
We're losing you, but if I respond, as we've known for years, one of the problems is the fertilizers that the landscapers use on properties. And we passed a local law years ago that it was against the village laws to use those products. And when those products are used at any point in the park, whether it's the Dows, I'm not saying they're doing it, but anywhere, their water goes into the storm drain system and comes down. So it's not just lakefront people who might be fertilizing. It's anybody in the entire park that's using that fertilizer. I can talk to the chief and ask him if we want to do something a little more stern this year. Every year for the last 5 years, at the beginning of the season, the police department passes out a pamphlet to the landscapers telling them that it is against the law to use that type of fertilizer. And we'll continue to do that, but maybe it's time we start writing court appearance tickets if these landscapers are bringing in that product. I hate to do that, but it doesn't seem to be working otherwise. So I appreciate you supporting Jim's position, and we'll take all that under consideration when we're doing this year's budget.
That would be wonderful. Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're welcome. All right.
Gardner Hempel has it.
We
Gardner?
got a few more hands. Next up is Gardner Hempel.
Gardner?
Hi, I was just, Chu Yin was just using my microphone.
Oh. Okay.
Internet.
She lost internet on her computer in the other
Oh,
room.
okay. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm in listening mode tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your hard work. Who is next?
You know, one more, Mayor. It's Jacob Matthews.
Okay, I'm going to bring you in, Jacob, even though it's not on an agenda item, because you and I spoke beforehand. And I suggested that you speak to us about your cleanup program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Board of Trustees. Just briefly, thanks for letting me, even though it's not on the agenda. I thought maybe, David, you would talk to it, but I had an idea simply maybe for Earth Day that there might be some residents willing to volunteer to do walking their neighborhoods to do litter cleanup. Tuxedo Park doesn't have a major problem with litter, but it's one of those kind of nuisance items, and it might be an opportunity for the community to get together, pick an area of your neighborhood, walk it for an hour, and maybe the village could support us with garbage bags and pickup tools, or we can go out and get our own. I did one cleanup in my area on New Year's Eve, I think it was. There was still not snow, no snow had arrived yet. And I came up with half a bag of, litter. I think it was a 40-gallon bag. So I had 20 gallons worth of litter just up and down my street. And it's not to propose to go on people's private property, but just to walk the roads and get things that maybe have fallen out of trucks over the year, fallen off the garbage trucks or out of the back of a, pickup truck. Or unfortunately, from time to time, people feel it's a good idea to throw things out their window. So I think it's kind of something we might be able to get together. And I thought in the spring on Earth Day. So just an idea. And I don't know if the village might support that. And we could meet up on, some weekend in April on a Saturday at the village office, or pick up some goods the Friday before and just spend an hour, and we can assign people to various places. So I'm happy to help coordinate and organize on that if the board might support it as well, or whomever within the village I could coordinate with.
Right. Speaking for myself, I'll be happy to put something on the website for you to get volunteers. Why don't you and I work together offline on something to publish? And let me just do a little straw poll here. Does anyone have an objection if the village helps advertise this community cleanup?
No objection.
No objections. Okay, so you got us on board, and we'll do what we can to help.
Great, and thank you. And I would just add, it does tie into this lakes thing. It doesn't have to do with sort of this phosphorus and everything, but I think it's not just the nuisance of seeing litter from time to time, but it's also, going along the lakes and around our lakes. This is our drinking water, and we use, we fish here, we boat here. And I think given the fact that the lakes are very important, a lot of garbage can end up in our lakes. And I think it's an effort toward helping prevent that over time. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyone has a raised hand?
No other hands raised at this time.
Okay, our own Elizabeth.
So speaking of Earth Day, last year on Earth Day, we had a a shredding event, because we had a lot of things here at the village office to shred, and we invited the community to join us. I don't know if the board would like to do something similar this year. I've gotten 2 quotes. The low was 848, which is lower than the last year's.
How was the response?
From the
Last year.
community, we didn't get a lot of people from the community, but they were very enthusiastic about it. And my own experience with these kinds of community events is that the first year is usually you don't get much of a response, but then word spreads
Mhm.
and you get more of a response in the years to come.
It was also before the new website, and there's
That's
more people that
right.
are attentive to the new website. I support it.
Okay.
Does anyone else support a $800 investment in a commercial shredder that would be here in the parking lot?
3 hours.
We have 3 hours. We have plenty of stuff to shred in our own office. Is that correct?
We do have some, yeah.
And then also the residents are invited
Right.
to use it,
Yep,
correct?
Absolutely.
Does anyone want to comment on that? Do you support that or
We
not?
do have another board meeting before Earth Day, so we don't have
Okay.
to vote on it tonight.
Okay, all right, it's not on the agenda, so let's just do that. We'll table
Historical
it.
people feel like they would be interested. then
I would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need-
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, any other comments before we close?
No other hands
Close.
raised.
Who?
No other hands raised, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, there is one in the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I have you down. Wait, hold on. I have you down for a discussion
New business.
under new business, but since time is of the essence, why don't I introduce that now? Since you're here and you don't have to wait. Okay, everyone, if you want to stand over at the podium, I'd like to introduce Claire Dower. She is the town recreation coordinator. Thank you. And she has approached the Weewa Park in the village
So much.
to conduct summer camp at the Weewa Park this season. And I fully support it. I'm going to give her a minute to go over things before I ask for permission from the trustees to negotiate with her and then to present it to you for final approval. So Claire, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. So yeah, this is just a little basic proposal of what we would like to do with our summer camp. Attached, I have the years past when we were here. The last year we were here was in 2016. We paid the park approximately $5,000 for 20 days of morning and afternoon to use the Weewa.
Excuse me, did you pay the park or the Weewa Beach
I'm
Club?
sorry, the Weewa Beach Club.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the Weewa Beach Club.
Uh-huh.
Also attached there, I have our summer camp packet.
Mhm.
It just has all the details of what we do in our summer camp. This is from last year and where we also went to the Highlands pools last year. But the back page has our indemnification clause,
Mhm.
which I thought would be important to put there. If you guys would also like to be added onto it for this year's packet before I put it out. And my proposal is that we would try to come in the afternoon from Monday to Thursday, starting August 7th until August 12th. And I know that the plan was for the Weewa Beach to be open around 12 or 1
Weewa Beach for swimming
for swimming.
is open from 1 till 8 or dusk.
Okay,
Weewa Park without swimming is open from sunset to 1.
okay. So.
So there is a morning window
Sunrise.
available.
Sunrise. to
So sunrise till,
Yes.
yeah. I just saw this, just have fun and let's party. That's,
Yeah. That's all that's on your mind, I'm aware.
yeah.
But I would try to put our camp to come from 1 to 3:15 approximately.
Mhm.
Goes Monday through Thursdays,
Mhm.
that time period.
And how many weeks?
That's about 5 weeks.
About
So-
5 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. And when do you need to get your brochures out and so forth and start collecting?
So I would like to try to get my brochures out by early April.
Okay.
I still have some other things I have to go over and things like that.
Mhm.
The latest I would get it out is mid-April to late April.
Okay, so what I'm asking the board for tonight is permission to negotiate an agreement with you.
Yeah.
And then present it back to the board for approval. But our next meeting will be after the time you want to start advertising. So what I'd like to discuss with the board now is, what I'll do is after I negotiate it, I'll send you all copies in between meetings. And unless you have any major objection, I'll sign it so that she can have her time scheduled for marketing. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you do when you're using the facility. I mean, do the kids use the barbecues under supervision? Do they use the play set? What's the age group?
So we.
How much do they swim? Do you have your own lifeguard?
So we will try to get our own lifeguard this year, depending on how many kids we have, and we'll try to do some sort of swimming instruction. That's still in the works, so there's no definite, but we will definitely have a lifeguard. I'm not sure about swim instruction, but the kids, while they're there, they have a chance to play. There's also the volleyball court that is there, so they have a chance to play volleyball. And just swim really is where we're kind of our main focus and what was really important to the camp. I mean, it's only a couple hours in the afternoon. Earlier in the day, they will be playing other sports, doing other activities, arts and crafts. They don't really use the barbecues because fire is dangerous around kids mostly. But we have an age group from 4 to 13. Sometimes we go a little over, a little under, but that's about the age.
Right. So for the swimming, for safety reasons, maybe you and I can discuss for those 5 weeks and another buffer, another border, like right next to the existing border, exclusively for your camp. We can discuss that later. But if you have 4-year-olds swimming with a bunch of adults and then everyone's lifeguarding, maybe it'd be better if we could sort of split that off. Well, we can just.
I'm willing to discuss.
And by the way, thank you very much for your cooperation. You've been very nice to deal with. Okay, and any of the trustees have any questions?
I just had a question.
John, I believe we've lost audio.
I emailed him. I don't think he can hear us.
I texted them. They're aware of it.
Thank you.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. What did you miss? Did you see the presentation about the summer camp?
we saw the presentation, and then somebody had entered the video. I had removed that person, and then we lost audio.
Oh,
So,
oh,
yes.
remove a person. Thank you for that.
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Purchasing and install 5 yard signs in the Weewah Park to clean up after your dog at a total of $99. Purchase and install 2 signs identifying the entrance to the village office at 120. Approve the purchase of a replacement pump in the Mountain Farm Pump Station at a cost of approximately $3,100. Spec attached. D, purchase.
You got a price for a pump?
That's preliminary, yes.
Okay, because I got one late this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
It's cheaper than.
Good.
a little
So
bit.
we'll say approximately 31, and then unless you have the exact number now.
$2,750.
How much?
$2,750.
Thank you, sir. Approximately 2,750. D, purchase 2 V800 time clocks to work with PayServe at a cost of $1,258.95 each, and monthly hardware warranty at $24.58. Add all written reports to the permanent record. Approve the 2/15/2022 Board of Assessors meeting. And are we pushing off the regular minutes?
I think Elizabeth and I both agree the minutes are accurate.
They are accurate now.
According to TPFYI, my memory, her memory, the minutes, we had a hearing and we had a vote and we approved the law last meeting.
No, you have to have a public hearing
We
to
had
approve
it.
a law.
Did-
We had it.
I know.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
I know we had one,
did.
a public hearing last meeting, but I don't remember what it was about.
So we put it in the month before.
We put it in February.
Well, there's nothing like covering your back.
There you go.
All right, so,
Redundancy is key.
okay, good. Authorize the village election Tuesday, June 14th at 80 Laurelard Road, with the polling hours being 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Authorize the mayor to sign the GPRS leak detection agreement for approximately $7,200 to include the entire water system piping in the park. And I'm going to add to that Hamlet and town, thanks to Jeff. Anybody have any questions about any of those? Would like me to take them out? Okay, anyone else? We're good? Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda, items A through I, as printed on the public agenda. May I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Old business. This is, guys, to pass, oh, we did it. Crossing that out. Okay, resolution, I'll just read the resolution and then we can discuss it. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the mayor to sign the Weston and Sampson proposal for SSES Phase 3, Subbases 2 and 10, Year 2 Construction Amendment Number 1, Pond 3 Sewer Rehabilitation. Any discussion?
Nope.
John, for the public, would you like to just briefly describe what this is?
The SSES or which?
What we're signing?
This is a plan to repair and replace sections of sewer line where we feel that there's both water getting into the sewer line and possibly sewer getting out of the sewer line.
and this is money's left over, right, from another project.
Yes,
So it's not
this
new
is not new spending.
Not new spending.
Correct. Good point. May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Want to sign it?
Yeah, sign it right after the meeting.
Okay.
If you can catch me, I'll be at Rhodes. Okay. Resolution authorizing me to sign the, okay. Remember last month, guys, we were presented with the dental plan, but it was right at the day of the meeting, so we decided to table it. I'm sure everyone's had a chance to look at it. So be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorized the mayor to renew the MWG VSP Vision Dental Plan The rates are the same as last year. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Aye. Oh, no, I'm jumping ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 2 minutes past my deadline. Okay, new business. I found through the government, and we ran it by the village attorney, a low-income household water assistance program. And it helps low-income households pay the cost of water and sewer services. So I thought, considering we had all these difficulties during COVID, and people are protected from having their water shut off or sewer shut off, for example, because of COVID, it's great that the state's come up with a program to help them pay. So these people will have to apply and meet certain conditions. But in order to do that, we have to participate by passing a resolution. So that's what I'd like to do today. So I'm going to read that resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the participation in the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program, LIHWAP, which helps low-income households pay for the cost of water and sewer services, and for the mayor to sign the vendor agreement. The program can assist households who have past due bills for water and or sewer services. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now going to the audit of claims.
So this month's audit of claims, the general fund, we have $122,207.17. Water fund claims are $13,442.99. And professional fees are $691.50.
Would you like to state the resolution?
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the mayor to sign the audit of claims comprised of the general fund, $122,207.17, water fund, $13,442.99, and professional fees at $691.50.
I accept your resolution as spoken into the record, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, I ask if there are any executive session items that we would like to go into executive session for. Chris, for example, do you have anything that we're not aware of yet?
Nothing that I
Okay.
didn't include in my email.
Okay,
last week.
terrific. Anyone else? Robert, is there anything that you wanted us to go into executive session for?
Nothing on our end, Mayor.
There.
Okay, are there any other items that have come before the board this evening that that anyone would like to discuss? In that case, the Board of Trustees agrees to adjourn the meeting. It is 8:02. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I need some bills. Pay some bills.
You want
Split it
to,
up.
yeah, here,
I'm gonna have-
here.
I was 2 minutes past my.
I saw it like on the, you had a 650